my whole family on the first part of Scrappy and Chaotic TV. You came to my mama's house at my daughter's birthday party, where Erica and my mama, everybody that everybody liked to watch. You came over there with all your little cameras and stuff like that, and we made it. We said this is our first episode. This for our first episode. Not only he do that, he kept everywhere I was at. He right there filming me doing all this shit because he had to use me to get it up there. That's why it's up there now, because I was there. I was present. Now when it came to my kids, I can't be there for you, homie. I can't be there when you making plans because you ain't got no kids. You ain't got no kids. So you gonna goddamn go and do whatever you gotta do, up, jumping, and running in the morning.
When we believed Lil Scrappy was getting better, his health took a horrifying turn for the worst. Them had been following his health battle for weeks, thinking he was finally getting better. When it became apparent that he was improving, even displaying indications of improvement, his social media activity gave them optimism that he was persevering. Behind the scenes, however, things weren't as solid as they appeared. His loved ones were worried, and now their worst fears had materialized. After a sudden and serious health crisis, paramedics took Lil Scrappy to the intensive care unit late last night. Although information is still being gathered, people with knowledge of the situation say the emergency was severe and unexpected. Fans are eagerly awaiting updates, and friends and family are...
Thing. Anybody can make a police report. I can go do a police report now and say, I seen bruises or seen some shit, you know what I'm saying, on the money. It's a police report. But what you need to post is the paperwork from the whole investigation, because I went through everything, because I ain't got nothing to hide. My kids are well taken care of.
Last night, when Scrappy was brought out on a stretcher, his face pallid and his body hardly moving, sirens resounded over Atlanta. According to witnesses, the scene was hectic, with paramedics racing to stabilize him while flashing red and blue lights filled the streets. From the beginning, it was obvious that there was a severe problem and that this was more than just fatigue. Insiders claim that Scrappy, who had been spending the evening with close friends and family, attempting to recuperate from his recent health issues, suddenly passed out at a private home. Earlier in the day, he had complained of feeling weak, but nobody anticipated that things would change so drastically. He apparently passed out at some time throughout the night, which caused alarm in those surrounding him. Emergency personnel came in a matter of minutes after family members frantically dialed 911, stating that Scrappy was already not responding to their calls. According to sources, paramedics had to administer emergency care right away before he could be taken to the closest hospital. But what's more scarier, physicians are unable to identify the cause of his condition's uncontrollable decline. Although medical personnel are making every effort to stabilize him, the reason for his unexpected collapse remains unclear. His loved ones are now fearing the worst because of the ambiguity, which is making this even more terrible. Mama D let out a heartbreaking cry as soon as she got to the hospital. Her baby boy was wired up and hardly responding. The robust, active kid she had always shielded now lay still, surrounded by beeping equipment. Nurses and hospital security attempted to restrain her, but nothing could stop Mama D from seeing her son. The sight was too much for her to handle. She rushed by them and demanded answers from the physicians, asking them to explain what was going on, why they hadn't discovered the problem yet, and what they were doing to save him. Mama D didn't have it. She needed honest answers quickly. But she wasn't alone at the hospital. The medical staff tried to reassure her that they were doing everything they could to help her relax. Things get much more heated when Scrappy's estranged wife, Bambi, shows up.
Parenting right now, this ain't got nothing to do with co-parenting. Our kids ain't here. This is
definitely co-parenting.
This is not co-parenting.
This is definitely co-parenting. We both just talked to our kids.
We did, but this is not co-parenting. This is coexisting. This is co-working.
We not even working right now.
We off the clock, but we still at work.
I'm not at work. I ain't doing shit.
I'm at work because we can't leave and go nowhere, because if we leave and go somewhere, we fired. So we're at work.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we at work. You right. Nigga, you right.
I know. Shit. We
right.
It's 1 o'clock. Okay, they got all the employees standing there.
Bambi was obviously shaken when she burst in. Her face was white, her eyes were red from sobbing, and she had just had time to recover her breath when she was confronted by Mama D, who wasn't having any of it. "You care now, I see." Mama D's voice pierced the tense hospital atmosphere like a dagger as she yelled, her arms crossed and her eyes full of anger. Despite the silence, there was a lot of anxiety in the waiting area. Bambi recoiled at the charge. She shot back, her voice shaking. Of course I care. I've always been concerned. Mama D, however, wasn't persuaded and stepped forward, her annoyance erupting. When he needed help and was having difficulties, where were you? You left, Bambi, and now you appear as though you were the distraught wife. Bambi cleaned her face and tried not to cry as the words hurt. You have no idea what you're talking about, she said. I wasn't there for him just because we weren't together. I checked in, I said a prayer for him. This is not what I ever wanted. The voices in the fight intensified. Scrappy's relatives attempted to intervene and urge them to settle down as their feelings flared, but neither woman was giving in. Bambi was not merely there for show. She truly cared about her son, and the idea of losing Scrappy was intolerable to Mama D, who was passionately protective of him and felt that Bambi had let him down. Then, just as the tension was about to blow up, a doctor arrived with shocking news. The sad expression on the doctor's face made it clear that things had become worse without him having to say much. The room became quiet. He was running low on oxygen. His heart is unstable, therefore we need to be ready for anything, the doctor eventually stated in a calm but serious tone. Mama D's expression hardened. You have to fix him, save my son. Your physicians save lives every day. At the end, her voice cracked, but her pain was hidden by her rage. We're doing everything we can, but right now his body isn't responding the way we hope, the doctor lamented. We're keeping a careful eye on him, but we must be prepared for anything. Bambi broke down and sobbed into her hands because she was unable to contain her emotions any longer. Like a freight train, the situation's truth struck her. Scrappy was battling for his life, and there was no assurance he would survive, so this wasn't simply another health concern. The ICU alarm abruptly sounded, the physicians and nurses went into action, and 4 of them rushed past the shocked family members into the darkness before anyone had a chance to digest the news. Scrap's room was filled with machines beeping frantically. Something had gone dreadfully wrong.
Nobody go on YouTube or no social media, not no man anyway. Soon as they get into a confrontation, it was a confrontation. It was a confrontation. And I know Bam told me, I know Smiles told me not to come on here, told me to go on my YouTube page, but I'm gonna put the real shit on my YouTube page tonight. But the thing in the morning, however we do that shit. But on another note, bro, like, you had to be the one to come out. I want to knock it out. I just want to f it out. Cause you've been doing too much, what they call it, dirty macking. You know what I'm saying? Even on the TV shows, every time you get a chance, you saying something negative about it. You know what I'm saying? And I always try to keep it, like me and my buddy, we make plenty of money. Like, we ain't got to do all that. I try to keep it solid with you.
With anxious expressions and quick motions, doctors and nurses hurried in. The beeping monitors that had previously followed Scrappy's vitals suddenly made a flatline, a terrifying continuous sound. As she pushed past the shocked family members, a nurse yelled, "We need help now!" Paddles were charged. The crash cart was pushed in, and the battle for Scrappy's life started. After clearing the room and placing both defibrillator pads on his chest, the adopter held his breath while a shock of electricity rushed through his body. His lifeless body hardly moved at all. Bambi's eyes were wide with fright, and her hands were over her mouth. The woman who always held herself with strength, Mama D, fell to her knees, clutching her chest and swaying back and forth while tears streamed down her cheeks. She cried, "No, no, no, my baby!" And the room echoed with the sound of a mother's anguish. The medical staff continued, one shock followed by another. A nurse exhorted, "Come on, Scrappy, fight," while another doctor prepared an adrenaline dose. His skin was punctured by the needle. Mama D could not move. Bambi was unable to breathe, and seconds seemed to drag on for hours. Then, after what seemed like a lifetime, a doctor blurted out 4 words that altered the course of events. "We are alive." There was a sigh in the room. Although there was a wave of relief, nobody dared to celebrate quite yet. Although Scrappy's heart was pumping once again, it was far too weak. His condition remains critical. We got him back, but the next 2 hours are critical, the doctor said in a steady but cautious voice. Fear overcame Mama D's relief as she tried to stabilize herself by clinging to a nurse's arm. Bambi nodded while wiping away her tears, still trembling. "Now what?" she inquired. "We keep a careful eye on him. His body has endured a lot. He is barely audible above a whisper. We have a chance if he stabilizes. But if things go in another direction," the doctor's message was obvious, even though he didn't finish. News had already begun to circulate outside the hospital, and supporters poured their prayers and encouraging comments onto social media. Thousands of followers shared their love, heartache, and hope when Pray for Scrappy became popular. Celebrities, in poignant comments, reality TV stars and fellow rappers urged Scrappy to continue battling. "You got this, buddy. You are loved," I read one post. "Remain resilient, King," said another. All of us are praying for you, however. The true question still stood. Would Scrappy survive, or were we seeing the end of his tale? "This is heartbreaking," someone commented. "I'm sending up prayers for Scrappy and his family. Keep going, dude. You are necessary to us." In addition, Mama D's suffering is genuine. Even though I don't always agree with her, no mother should have to endure this. A third individual wrote, "Mama D and Bambi should set their disagreements aside for the time being. Instead of drama, Scrappy wants love."
More money than me.
Okay. Sure. Now I'm okay. Boss women, that's how they do you. That's how they do you. They some kind of way.
You make more money than me.
Fans worldwide are praying for a miracle, and Scrappy's family is begging for strength, so he needs all the prayers and support he can receive right now. Every second matters at this crucial moment. This has completely destroyed Mama D, and even Bambi is finding it difficult to stay together in spite of their disagreements. But with everything that has transpired, is it possible that this crisis can ultimately unite them? Or will old wounds exacerbate the situation? What are your thoughts? Do you think Mama D and Bambi can put aside their conflict for Scrappy's sake, and will he survive? Tell me in the comments below.